Okay, so I've been asked just to share about the Lord's goodness in my own life personally. And I actually want to share a quick story with you guys. This past week, I had the privilege of going to a Lauren Daigle concert with Stephanie Upton. If you don't know her, you should definitely get to know her. She is just so full of loving others like Jesus does. And at the concert, Lauren shared a story. I don't know if she was with her crew and her producers in Kenya over in Africa, or if it was just them and they shared the story with her. But either way, they're over in Africa, and one of the guys from her crew, um, he had a water bottle, and over in this part of the world, water is a little more scarce. And so to gather water for those around you, for your family, you actually take a towel if and when you can find water and you're able, and you dip your towel in the water, and then you have to carry the towel back, and you just try to squeeze as much as you can out of it. And so one of the members of her team was holding onto a water bottle in one of his hands, and there's only a little bit of water left in it. And out of nowhere, a small child came up and grabbed the water bottle and ran away. And the member of the team said that he was like, man, why'd he do that? I have so much water I could have given him back at the truck. I could have given it to him if he'd have just asked. Well, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, the little boy actually runs back with the water bottle, and it's filled all the way up. And he said he just felt torn in half because he was so focused on all the things that he was so focused on what he lacked and not on what he could give. And that wasn't the case for this little small child, And it just kind of reminds me of like us, right? We can be so focused on what we lack, and we are less focused on all that we have to give, when we're so fortunate that we can serve a God and have a relationship with a God that is not that way and has everything to give and then some, and desires to do so on our behalf. And so just a few ways that God's been good to me in my life. Obviously, I have a really good, strong relationship with my parents. I'm very grateful for that. They've seen me through a lot of things in my life. I have good brothers and a fabulous sister. She's a replica of me. I would say that over the past few years, one thing I strongly prayed for what felt like the longest time, was just, God, send me some Christian friends. Just send me some people to walk with you. And for the longest time, it felt like the Lord said no. And I look back now, and I'm so grateful for that, because I truly can see where God was just revealing to me more and more of my sheer and utter dependence on Him alone, to be dependent on Him alone, and that He's enough without anyone else. And so I'm so grateful for that. I've not had many boyfriends, but the few that I have had came and went. It's like, oh God, why? It was such a good thing. And it's like, God says, no, that was good, but I'm preparing better for you. I know what's best. And even in my job situation, some of you know last spring, I actually lost a job, and I was laughing about it first service, because I was saying, it turns out you don't have to be 40 or 45 years old for that to happen. It can happen when you're 25. But I was devastated, and I was very hurt, and I was doing very well out there, so it's kind of just a really low blow, and it was hard to see then, God, what are you doing, or what are you preparing next, or what would you have for me? When really the job that I'm at now, the Lord led me to, I haven't even been at a year, and I've been asked if I'm interested in a promotion there. So just really cool how we can sometimes, in the middle of whatever we might be going through, it's kind of hard to, sense God and His goodness, but He is faithful, and He is so good, even when we're not. I wanted to read you guys a verse. I know it was in the sermon, which is cool because I didn't know that. But it's 2 Corinthians 5:14 and 15, and it says, "For Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. And He died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. And when my dad talks about the 90% being listening, I feel that, because I really feel that for all the hurt and the pain that I've gone through in my life personally, on the flip side of that, there's just such a desire to meet people where they're at in their journey, and to feel what they're going through, and to empathize, and to have sympathy for them. Sheila Walsh, you may have heard of her, maybe not. She's a Scottish-born American contemporary Christian vocalist, songwriter, and evangelist. She's an author, and she's actually an inspirational speaker. But she says this: some people will not understand what the love of Christ compels you to do. Do it anyway. And my charge and challenge to us as a body would just be to be compelled by the love of Christ and the goodness and the things that he's done for us personally and as a body, and to just really run with that, to reach others, and to grow this place. And so this song we're about to do, it's called Goodness of God, and Josh sent it to me a few weeks ago. I was at my desk at work, and I had a minute, so I actually popped out my headphones and listened to it right then and there. And I responded to him, and I said something like, man, I'm like holding back tears at my desk right now because it is just so good. And he said, I thought you might like it because I know that you've lived it. And that is true. But it's just a really neat song. But the truth is, God's love is running after us relentlessly, continuously. He's so faithful to us. So anyway, you guys, that's my little tidbit. Sorry, I know that definitely was not under 1 minute, but we can go ahead and wrap up a great morning together. Let's sing this song.